All right, guys, in this video, we're going to talk about how to stay motivated when you're working on your project. Believe me, when I started this thing, there was definitely several points during the job. If you haven't seen the videos on this, this was absolutely the biggest rust bucket you've ever seen in your life. And there was several times when I was done, you know. For me, the biggest motivator to keep going was that if I left this thing halfway done and I passed away or something, because I had a heart attack like a couple of years before I started that, and if I passed away during that, I would leave that with my wife to deal with, and that was one of my motivators to keep going. But apparently, I guess I'm all good. I mean, I just keep eating right and best I can. Sometimes I screw up a little, but anyway, the best way I found to keep motivated is there's a couple of things, is to kind of set a schedule. Now, your schedule might not be really firmly made up. You might have like, okay, I'm going to work on it 3 days a week. The firmer the schedule you have, the better you'll be able to stay motivated. So if you have, like, say, the schedule can be this simple. The schedule can be something like, okay, every day when I get home from work, I'm going to spend 10 minutes on something and kind of have an idea of what it's going to be. Make it simple. Let's say you're doing your engine. Just say, okay, today I'm just going to clean one half of the case. I'm going to spend 10 minutes on that. I'm going to set my time. I'm going to do it for 10 minutes. And then when I'm done with that, that's all I'm doing. And then that way, when your wife, won't be sitting there going, hey, where are you? You've been working on a car all the time. It's best to keep that in place when you're doing these. Now, if you guys remember, I've done this my whole life, and there's been times when, that was a huge factor with my kids and stuff like that. There was several years where I just didn't do anything, but there was a lot of times, even when I was really young, that I had projects I was working on when I got home from work. And that's how I did it. I did just a little bit every night, and I probably did a little bit too much every night. But that little bit you do every night keeps you going so that you feel like there's progress being made. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is to not have a schedule and not know what you're going to get done. And because what happens is you just start procrastinating. And then when you procrastinate so far, you get kind of overwhelmed because you didn't get anything done on it. And so that makes the project just go south. You can just lose it at that point. So do something simple a few days a week. I'm going to say, if it's only 3 days a week and then you got the other time with your family, that's fine. And then same thing on the weekends. You might say, okay, we're going somewhere this weekend or whatever with the family, and I'm just gonna do 10 minutes in the garage. I'm just gonna go out there for 10 minutes and set a timer or whatever and do the specific thing you were gonna do for that 10 minutes. And then what will happen is you're gonna find yourself pretty far into it. You'll get a lot done. Yeah, and then you'll be able to look back and you'll see the progress of what you've done, which is the key thing to keeping you motivated. If you just look at your project and you're going, it looks the same as it did last year, what happens is that mental thing just takes advantage of you, and you'll just lose it, and you'll be to the point where you just sell it off and then you won't finish it. So you guys have seen me in the last few years. I've been doing a lot of projects and finishing them, and that's partly because I don't work that many hours. Even when I am working, I probably work about 3 months of the year, and then when I'm working all the time, and then I make about what most people make in a whole year. So it's kind of nice to be able to do that, and I'm totally grateful for the fact that I can be able to do that. And yes, I do know what it's like before that, to be able to work full time and come home and actually work on your project, because I did that before I was doing YouTube, way before I was doing YouTube. And now I'm kind of, I don't know, not really retired or anything, but I'm, winding down, I want to say, not doing as much as I used to, and now my work is slow. So that even makes it more challenging because then you don't have money to do stuff you want to do. So there's that as well. So even when I was doing this blue car, I was busy working all the time, and I just did a little bit every night. I just did like a little bit after work. I get home, and you're tired. You don't want to do anything, but you just sand them. Just do one fender. Just do that one fender. I'm going to sand just the fender today. Okay. Then tomorrow I'll put some filler on it, and then I'll sand that. And then all of a sudden you're ready for primer on that fender. You do the same thing on the quarter panel. You work your way around until the whole car is done. And so like body, engine, you just do a little bit every night. Like for instance, you're doing your brakes. You say, okay, I'm just going to do one wheel tonight. And all of a sudden in 4 days, you got all 4 wheels done. Or maybe it's not even one whole wheel. Maybe it's just clean the parts on that wheel. And what I'm saying is once you see that consistent progress, and it also, your wife sees the consistent progress, she will be like, okay, something's getting done with this. And if it's just sitting there and you wait, then the wife goes, hey man, you haven't touched that thing in a year, and it doesn't happen. It happens very quickly that way. And then all of a sudden she's like, get rid of it. So fortunately, guys, I have a great wife as far as that goes. She's been good with letting me do stuff and work on cars. I guess probably because of YouTube, and it does generate some income, so that does help. But but part of that is she sees cars getting finished, and that's what's really important. So if you just find simple things, set a schedule, do those simple things that you can do, and do it consistently every week, every month. Have that schedule set, okay, Thursday, Friday, whatever. If it's only one day, that's fine, but the problem with only doing it one day is you don't get as much done. And it's better if you do small segments of things at a time, because then it doesn't like overwhelm you. You don't go on the whole Saturday and you spend the entire Saturday working on the car, and the kids don't see you, and it doesn't work out. So scheduling it, I like to do things early in the morning. Make no noise, of course, early in the morning. But when I was younger, what I would do is I'd get up really early before the kids would get up, and I'd go out and I'd work from 6 until around 9 when the kids would get up. And then I would get certain things done. Then when the kids got up, I'd do my thing with them or whatever, go wherever we were going to go, and then come home. And sometimes, after the kids were in bed, I kind of tinker around a little bit at night. So it was just, but I had a consistent time that I would do it every day, almost every day. But if you can't do it every day, you set, 2 or 3 days or whatever, and you just be consistent at doing it. So the whole thing is consistency and taking baby steps and getting something done little by little. And then all of a sudden you'll get towards the end. And when you get towards the end, that's what a lot of times what you'll do is you'll binge it. You'll just go and you'll see it almost getting done, and your wife sees it almost getting done. She's like, hey, get it to the paint, whatever. And then you start to binge it, and then it happens very quickly. But that whole process, when you start it, is that first, I'm going to say bringing it out of the ground is the hardest part. And once you get past that and you start doing progress just little by little, it really does help. And then staying on that schedule. So anyway, I hope that helps you if you're really in that situation and maybe you got your car sitting there for way too long. Just schedule time, a little bit at a time, 10 minutes, and just do simple baby steps so you don't overwhelm yourself, and you'll see progress. And then all of a sudden you'll want to do a little bit more. Sometimes you'll do a little more than 10 minutes. You may say, you schedule 10 minutes and you're going to go, I think I'm going to do another little bit. And, little by little, the motivation comes. All right, so I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.